Thanks, Poppy. Bon appetit.
Oh, bon appetit to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Don't forget, you can watch Out Front anytime, anywhere on CNN Go. The CNN film Julia begins right now.
Inside Africa, in association with Zenith Bank.
In the shadows of the Drakensberg Mountains stands a prestigious performing arts school for young boys from all over the world.
The magic of what we do here is to train these boys to tap into that immense talent that we have and to turn them into world-class choristers and performers.
7, 8, 2.
A school that's one of a kind on the continent and rooted in tradition.
It is important to keep the African heritage and these songs alive.
And surviving the tests of modern times.
We're in the auditorium now. That's a 600-seater. And what do you do when all of a sudden you're not allowed to put people in chairs?
Shaping young minds while allowing them to express their artistic talent. This is the Drakensberg Boys Choir School. This is Inside Africa. At the foot of the central Drakensberg mountain range in Winterton, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa, one can hear delightful harmonies blending in with beautiful surroundings. As we follow the sound, our ears lead us to the Ken Mackenzie Auditorium.
William, go to the space. Listen up. Zed, if you are in the seekers group, you come all the way down over these bunkies, this one, that one, this one, into this space.
The Drakensberg Boys Choir is warming up and preparing for an upcoming concert. Today's rehearsal, led by choreographer Zakele Nkosi, wants to try something new.
We are obviously transforming the space, the bunkies. Normally these bunkies will be in a sort of semi-circular shape or what, a V shape. So we want to actually transform that so that we start making this into be looking more like a production instead of just a choir concert.
Founded in 1967, the school places a heavy emphasis on music to set up boys for success in life.
20 boys enrolled in 1967, and by the early 1970s there were over 100 boys here in the school. Testament to the Tange family, but also the product of what they were producing here and just the excitement of being part of a choir which very soon became world-class.
Boys in the choir range in age from 9 to 15 years old and arrive at the school having lived through different experiences.
We have boys from different backgrounds, some of them literally from very rural homes, yet they come here, they share a common vision of being on that stage, representing their school, their country, and just sharing the absolute pleasure of singing.
From the school's very beginning, it was clear the founders had tapped into something special inside these halls.
When the school started in 1967, it didn't take long for this boys' choir to become popular. And it didn't take long to start making a name internationally. So much so that in its 15 years of existence, which was in 1983, the choir was invited to go and perform in the Vatican City for the Pope.
The choir would also perform for then President Nelson Mandela in 1995. Back at choir rehearsals, the boys have a history of great performances to live up to. They're working to perfect their parts for an upcoming show. And as choreographer Zakele Nkosi points out, they are setting an example that sings louder than any choir.
The school has actually become multiracial. And as you could see, our boys are both black and white. You've got Indian, got colored in the school. It is highly important that people actually see this embracement of different cultures into the school. I mean, our country right now is actually yearning to see more of that actually happening.
It takes a lot of work to prepare for a show. But before the boys can get to that point, first they have to qualify.
Every new boy who comes into the school has got to go through a training program with a whole series of tests. The progress that they make is eventually the boys will be able to follow a musical score and read it and understand it. So the one is a quartet audition where the new boy has to do a quartet audition. Then he's got to do audition with 3 other boys who are experienced choristers. And once he's passed that audition, he will go through to his solo audition. And the grade 9s, who are the seniors, then vote. And then if he's ready, then he's granted concert status. That's so nice. Okay. Well done, everybody.
It's early mornings and late nights, but these boys have a big goal in mind.
Thinking of banking in Africa? Think Zenith. In today's fast-moving, fast-changing world, you need a financial partner that understands your unique expectations. A bank with presence in major financial centers across the world, with the enabling platform to facilitate seamlessly, whenever, wherever, however. A bank with best-in-class financial solutions from a superb combination of technology and human touch for easy, fast, and secure banking that creates real value. Turning dreams into reality is now in your hands. People, technology, service. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Our mission here at CNN and journalists, the news comes first. That's when your heart beats a little bit faster. More breaking news that we are following right now. You really work as hard as you can, getting the facts. We're learning more about our alleged plot. It is critically important. To our viewers in the United States and around the world, welcome to the Situation Room. We have breaking news.
You can help the refugees from Ukraine. Join the over 80,000 who've already raised millions for food, shelter, and more. Explore cnn.com/impact. Click to take action.
Afghan women are afraid that this is the beginning of your efforts to erase them from the workspace.
Malumness, it's not clear. Even if we appear with the burqa, maybe they will say that women's voices are forbidden.
Did you ever imagine that you would be prevented from going to school?
Girls' education is fundamental to the dignity of Afghan life.
Do you believe that young girls will be allowed to go to school here in Afghanistan?
Here we go, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, Drakensberg Boys Choir School is the only boys' choir school on the continent of Africa and one of very few in the world.
Here in the school halls, preparation and meticulous attention to detail are part of the school's DNA, along with another important characteristic.
If you don't have discipline at the school, it's a huge problem because as we run on a tight schedule, it's really hard to actually do all of that unless you have a very good self-discipline. Like you can't procrastinate with your homework because you're gonna fall behind. You need to learn all your songs in time, otherwise you're basically not gonna be performing at all.
For students like Brett Ferniho, a typical school day is anything but.
An average schoolboy won't be put through his paces like boys are here. It's an early start to the day, it's a late finish to the day, and there are very few gaps in between where the boys can stop and gather themselves, but somehow they get onto the treadmill, as we call it here.
What happens, apart from choral rehearsals, which is at probably 10 hours a week that they rehearse with the choir, which is an education in itself. But over and above that, they have 2 periods of music theory a week. So, what do you notice about the first words? They have 2 periods of oral training a week and 1 period either of music appreciation or music production lessons a week. So that they almost have 16 to 17 musical happenings a week if you still count that they perform twice a week in front of a paying audience in the auditorium that was built specially for them.
And that's just the music curriculum.
The academic program, which obviously can't be overlooked, the importance of that is absolutely essential because the boys move on from here to go on to other schools where they have to complete their academic schooling.
Samkelo Mdakane, a former member of the choir who is currently continuing his studies, considers himself a testament to the school's mission.
My time at Drakensberg Boys Choir started in 2016 and went from 2020. So that's where I got to get the knowledge of music, choir singing, learning instruments, touring abroad. That for me as a musician was really the stepping stone to my future. That's where I started loving music and composing music.
He continues to pursue music, now creating music for other choirs.
So the piece I composed for 2 sets of choirs. It's called It Will Come Again, and it was inspired by the COVID-19 pandemic, and the message was the rain will come again to wash away all our sorrows, and normality will come back.
The Drakensberg School may be rigorous, but it doesn't mean there's no time for fun.
Running, cycling, soccer, rugby, depending on the season. And then we also have an outdoor program where the boys have the opportunity to hike in these beautiful mountains behind us here.
I think in a nutshell is the combination of nature and culture. Because we live in the most beautiful surroundings, we living in the central Drakensberg, but at the same time we nurture our boys culturally to be professional musicians. They're professional choristers, but then they can also go and they can run into the mountains, and we have that beauty of nature as well open to us.
Whoa, I'm gonna fall back.
A place for students to re-energize and find inspiration.
We have beautiful animals that lurk around the school grounds at night and in the mornings. We have the beautiful mountain which we look up to every morning when we wake up. And I think it's a very good place and a good environment where we can all work together and get things done.
On that note, it's back to work for Vaughan and the boys' choir. There's still that upcoming show to rehearse for.
Thinking of banking in Africa? Think Zenith. In today's fast-moving, fast-changing world, you need a financial partner that understands your unique expectations. A bank with presence in major financial centers across the world, with the enabling platform to facilitate seamlessly, whenever, wherever, however. A bank with best-in-class financial solutions from a superb combination of technology and human touch for easy, fast, and secure banking that creates real value. Turning dreams into reality is now in your hands. People, technology, service. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Coronavirus. To get daily news updates in your inbox, sign up for the CNN newsletter. Coronavirus. Fact versus fiction.
base of the central Drakensberg mountain range sits the internationally known Drakensberg Boys Choir School. The school is a one of its kind in Africa and is known for its high energy performances and harmonious sound.
You have the freedom to actually move. Yep.
And then go back and end off, like you can end off here.
Ahead of an upcoming performance, choreographer Zakile Nkosi is teaming up with instructor Tristan Trent to change up a typical choir concert.
We came up with an idea that we have to make this into look like a production. How do we do that? Costuming, props, transforming the stage, which you see here.
The boys are also learning new choreography to enhance their performances. The choir takes pride in being able to sing, interpret, and perform any genre of music, from classical to pop to African.
A lot of these songs are culturally significant. They are a heritage, songs that come from the struggle in South Africa, but also songs that come from before that, you know, songs like Shosholoza, which is actually a mining song, and it's stuff that almost gets passed down generation to generation to remind us of who we are, remind us of our culture. You know, when the world hears African, they traditionally think of black people, but we as African are a multicultural society, and our hearts beat the same language.
While they have integrated new genres and choreography, they have also introduced music production into their curriculum. The courses give students the opportunity to learn how to produce their own music, as well as insight into the inner workings of the music industry.
We teach it to the older boys. Teaching production is more about actually going, hey guys, I can give you a skill that you could actually make a career of. You can actually make money out of this. But you're learning it at 14. You're not learning it at 20 in university. And the best part about it is you're learning it on a cell phone.
And that's music to Awande's ears.
A lot of us at the school actually want to become music producers when we're older. So I think it's such a good asset and a good facility to have, that we have people teaching us about how to produce music, how to auto-tune and twist and play around with things. It really helps us understand more about music and how to release stuff. And I think now that we're recording so much, I think it's very good to actually know how the production system works around here. And I think it would be a very good asset for us one day.
Tone, ready? This room is not really conducive for a choir, so I would pretty much bring in smaller groups at a time and overdub, and then bring in another group of boys and another group until eventually we have the whole choir.
The course also teaches them how to use what they have, opening new avenues to create music. Production studios are no longer the only option.
People are not moving towards, you know, these big corporations because they're realizing that, A, with a laptop and a cheap microphone, I can put out stuff that is as good as the biggest industry, the biggest studios in the planet. Because it's not necessarily about what tools you have, it's how you use it.
Finding workarounds to obstacles. It's a lesson that paid off when the COVID-19 pandemic hit.
The Drakensberg Boys Choir, I mean, it's a South African treasure. And that is a scary prospect, is when your whole identity is based on people in the door. It's scary. When you've never done, you know, a digital anything really.
The school thrives on live performances, which meant a rapid shift had to occur to adapt to a new world.
we're in the auditorium now. That's a 600-seater. And what do you do when all of a sudden you're not allowed to put people in chairs? We needed to find a way to attract a new audience. And the younger generation is the audience that are consuming content. So for us, it was about how do we attract that new audience and show that Dra Keys is not only still relevant, but still relevant to everybody. And one of the biggest parts of this pandemic has been how are we still being current, but still maintaining the identity of who we are.
An unexpected learning opportunity for both instructors and students.
We had to adapt to different situations. We had to start posting on social media platforms. We had to get used to that whole new genre, because if we didn't provide that, we were going to get forgotten in the whole chaos. And that's the one thing that we cannot afford.
I think it was a really good idea, and I think it's a new step forward for our school, and I think it's going to be a thing that's gradually continuing forward.
Using social media to enhance the school's reach played right into the strengths of modern teenagers.
It took a genius of an artistic director and some passion on his part and technical skills to decide that we're going to can get the boys to film themselves, record themselves in their own homes, and very skillfully they put together videos, music videos that were then published on various platforms, and that tied in very much with the new vision of the school, which is to actually record content and get it out across the globe on the platforms. And that was, I believe, the birth of something which we're seeing happening more and more for us as a school now.
An evolution that not only makes good business sense, but is returning emotional dividends as well.
We've seen the momentum, we've seen the impact that it has on the boys when they themselves see themselves on the platforms and they can share it with their family members around the world, literally. So the momentum is picking up, and I believe that there's greater and greater buy-in as they see the boys doing their thing in a different format.
Producing a future that can withstand the tests of modern times.
Thinking of banking in Africa? Think Zenith. In today's fast-moving, fast-changing world, you need a financial partner that understands your unique expectations. A bank with presence in major financial centers across the world, with the enabling platform to facilitate seamlessly, whenever, wherever, however. A bank with best-in-class financial solutions from a superb combination of technology and human touch for easy, fast and secure banking that creates real value. Turning dreams into reality is now in your hands. People, technology, service. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
For World Sport.
World Sport.
For World Sport, I'm Coy Wyatt.
I'm Amanda Davis.
I'm Andy Scholes.
I'm Don Riddell.
I'm Alex Thomas. I'm Patrick Snell. And this
is CNN.
5, 6, 7, 8.
The Drakensberg Boys Choir is going through final rehearsals, hours before their concert. As with anything worth doing, practice makes perfect. It is this kind of dedication that audiences have come to expect from the choir's performances.
We carefully plot out the stage, we carefully choreograph. As you can see behind us is Coach working with the boys, plotting out what would happen in a general live performance. And we're working on our African program, so it's not only necessarily pop music that we do, but also the African side of music to bring in that audience as well.
And for the students who work through hours and hours of music education each week, it all comes down to the live performance.
We are now entering the second half, which is our traditional African music where we dance and sing and play the drums and gumboots. It gives us a lot of excitement because we get to move around, sing, have a laugh with you, and it's really exciting performing for the audience, especially when they feed off our energy and shout and chant, and us as Dra Keys really feed off of that energy and we give it all our best. Yes, show them that we are boys choir, gents, please.
It's in live performance where you really measure with the interaction with the audience and the feedback that you get from the audience, contributing to the actual performance as well.
Beautiful, angelic, awe-inspiring are just some of the words used to describe the Drakensberg Boys Choir and their performances.
What we realized is that we have an incredible product, first of all. We believe ourselves to be a national asset here in South Africa with an international footprint. And what we've learned is the flexibility, the adaptability that's essential to survive. But probably at the core of it is the fact that we have boys and staff members who believe in everything that we do here on this campus.
I love the Drakensberg Boys Choir School because it's just such a big brotherhood. You know everyone personally, and you can talk to anyone if you have even the slightest problems. It's just everyone's so open, and it's very nice to have that sense of security and friendship.
So we hope maybe that in the near future, maybe school of this nature will be duplicated in a place like Soweto, in a place like Tembisa, or somewhere in Durban, Guamashu, where we actually exhume this talent, because it is everywhere around.
It's an immense privilege to be part of this internationally acclaimed choir school, and here at the tip of Africa, a continent that is just growing rapidly and just incredible things happening. Here we have a choir that's 55 years old, part of a choir school that is making its footprint.
Inside Africa, in association with Zenith Bank.
Welcome to The Lead. We begin with breaking news. The United States has plunged into a recession. We're seeing infections at an all-time high. What's your reaction to that? Here are the facts.
The Lead with Jake Tapper.
Business is all about making connections. But some connections are easier to make than others. With a CNN partner hotel, the world is always at your fingertips. CNN partner hotels, connected to your world.
This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source.
African Voices Changemakers. in association with Glow Unlimited.
Welcome to African Voices. I'm Aritopo, and this week we meet one of Africa's most influential female tech entrepreneurs. This change maker knows what it takes to build a company from the ground up and is using that experience to help other entrepreneurs succeed in her home country of Cameroon.
I've dedicated my life to making our ecosystem stronger and better and having as many people benefit from the digital economy as possible. I support technology entrepreneurs across Africa. My name is Rebecca Enonchong, and I'm a change maker.
Growing up in Cameroon, Rebecca Enonchong says it took years before she discovered the power of technology.
When I was growing up, we didn't have technology. As a matter of fact, here in Cameroon, we didn't even have television.
But once she started tinkering with tech, Rebecca says she was hooked.
I used to take, computers and take them all apart and put them back together just for fun. And I just really fell in love with the power that you have in your hands when you're using technology.
Rebecca moved to the United States with her family as a teen. While she still lives in the US, she often visits Cameroon and has dedicated her career to promoting technology and entrepreneurship across Africa.
We know how challenging the business environment is in so many of our African countries. One of the challenges is definitely access to finance and also access to resources like internet, electricity, water. You can't tell a customer that's downloaded your app on the internet and they're using it maybe in the US, you can't tell them, oh, sorry, the app won't be available between this hour and this hour because we don't have power.
To help build a strong ecosystem for entrepreneurs, Rebecca has founded, chaired and advised multiple companies over the past 2 decades. One of those is AfroLabs, an organization that supports tech hubs across the continent.
We started in 2011 and we only had 5 hubs. And today we're 320 member hubs across 51 different African countries, supporting a community of over 1,000 African entrepreneurs.
We were with Rebecca as she visited Cameroon and spoke at one of AfroLabs' events.
We're here in Douala at the Crystal Palace Hotel. And we're in AfroLab's physical workshop. Bonjour à tout le monde. It takes a lot of work to really support our community of entrepreneurs, and we do that as tech hubs. We've been doing it for years, and to come together to learn from each other is incredibly important. It's really important for us to build this community, to strengthen our ecosystem.
Rebecca's work has launched her onto the world stage. In 2014, she was named one of Forbes' 10 female tech founders to watch in Africa. And in 2020, Forbes Africa listed her as one of Africa's 50 most powerful women.
I was very proud and excited about that.
While her successes have been plentiful, Rebecca has also faced her share of hardships. In August 2021, Rebecca was accused of contempt while visiting Cameroon. A social activist said Rebecca was arrested while discussing a case she had with her family regarding inheritance. She was detained for several days before the charges were dropped.
So I think I was arrested like many people in Cameroon are arrested. It was an arbitrary arrest, but it was an experience. I got to see firsthand what so many other Cameroonians have had to go through. And so I think it brought me closer to so many of those that have lived through similar injustices. And so it gave me a voice also, because it added to my credibility in speaking on other subjects other than just technology, because I've lived injustice firsthand.
It's one of many lessons Rebecca hopes to pass on to other entrepreneurs. Today, she's meeting with one of her longtime mentees.
We're at Health Lane in Bonapriso, Douala. It's one of the Health Lane locations. Hi. Thank you. Good to see you. Hi, thank you. Health Lane is a startup that's in e-health that's delivering preventive health care, leveraging technology. I've been an advisor forever, for years and years and years, and I've seen them grow and develop and have supported them in every way I possibly can. I love them as entrepreneurs.
I think Rebecca has been our #1 fan and advisor. Her direct feedback that she has, I think that has really been very important. And even helping us to get into several entrepreneurial programs that helped with fundraising. She's really guided and really advised us on shaping the product vision. When it comes to like focus on the digital aspect.
When I get the updates.
While Rebecca often takes a tough love approach, she says her goal is to see these entrepreneurs succeed.
My inspiration is seeing a new generation of African leaders, to see where they come from and the lack of support, lack of resources, the difficult business environment, but they're still making it. It's almost like having a child, right? You love to see how they're growing, how they're contributing, the impact they're having on their communities. It's almost like I live off of their successes.
Next, Rebecca takes us to rural Cameroon to show us how she's helping promote entrepreneurship there.
20,000 naira for free. 20,000 naira bonus. Is your line blocked? Then move to Glow.
I'm reconnected.
Because we've all reconnected. And it's simple. Dial *109# and link your NIN to your new or existing Glow number.
Get up to 20,000 naira for free with Glow.
20,000 naira bonus free.
Yes, so free.
Nigel, what are you waiting for?
He's interviewed 5 U.S. presidents, authored 7 books, and has an independent voice that resonates.
What happened to when we were united against a common enemy?
He's raw, unique, and one of America's most important talk show hosts. Watch Smirconish, Saturday on CNN.
It's so peaceful that for me, coming here, even for a very short time, is almost like a meditation, right? It's almost like it brings me back to join my soul.
Rebecca Inonchong is reconnecting with her home country of Cameroon as she works to grow Africa's tech and entrepreneurial ecosystems.
One thing that I love is in the west part of the country is just the silence of it, the peaceful of it, the richness of the soil. With all the hustle and bustle in my life, and I'm dealing with tech every day, being able to come and commune with nature is so rewarding.
Rebecca is regarded as one of Africa's most influential tech entrepreneurs. For years, she has sought to help those in rural areas.
Originally, we wouldn't even imagine that innovation could be made in Africa. We have talent that is local, and we need to be able to support that talent because, you know, the next invention that will save the world might come from the rural area. We need to go after that innovation and find the innovators where they are. And that means that going into smaller towns, into rural areas, and not only helping identify those innovators, but giving them a whole environment to support them, you know, so that that innovation doesn't just sit in a drawer.
She co-founded Active Spaces in 2010. The company has since built a number of technological innovation centers in Cameroon.
We're at Active Spaces. Active Spaces is the African Center for Technology, Innovation and Ventures. We have locations in Boya, we have locations in Douala, and this is our newest location here in the west part of Cameroon, in a rural, very small town called Bangante. It's so critical because we have talent across the country. We give them the basic necessity, a space so that they don't have to go rent an office somewhere. We also support them and help them, build their business. And that means that looking at their business model and helping them shape their business model, help them prepare for investment so that they can be investor ready. Today we're very lucky to be doing a hackathon along with an entrepreneur who's based here in Bangante.
Active Spaces also strives to empower women in technology.
Here at Active Spaces, we've also had programs for women entrepreneurs that weren't in tech to try to help them digitize their business and use digital tools in order to improve their business.
Rebecca says investing at the local level is crucial to succeed.
We need to make sure that much more of the investment comes locally. Why is that so important? It's because who is going to benefit when a startup succeeds? Is it Africa or is it Silicon Valley? We really need to work on getting more local investment, increasing the angel investment community, increasing the number of venture capital companies that are based on the continent and led by Africans and that have African capital injected into them.
To promote these types of investments, Rebecca helped launch the African Business Angel Network, or ABAN, in 2014.
And what we're aiming to do through ABAN is actually support the angel investor, because we understand that we need a lot more investment for our startups, for our ecosystem to thrive. ABAN empowers those local investors by giving them training and support and really helping them understand the process of investing.
While material resources are essential, Rebecca has this message for new entrepreneurs.
We don't ever start with nothing, because we always have talent, right? And we may not have money, but we're not starting from zero. So you really have to look within yourself and see, what you have to bring to the table. And if you don't have financial resources, it doesn't mean that you can't build a viable business. I started a company, we went multinational, earned tens of millions of dollars, and I started just me. So, I think that just the fact that I've been through it and me sharing my story and supporting them because they know I understand, I think that's the greatest contribution that I can make. I'm really hoping that we do recognize the importance of the digital economy and how much it can contribute to a larger economy. Now I want to dream really, really big and know that so many of the world's solutions that people will use across the world will come from our African continent, made in Africa, not just for Africa, but for the world.
20,000 naira for free. 20,000 naira bonus. Is your line blocked? Then move to Glow.
I'm reconnected.
Because we've all reconnected. And it's simple. Dial *109# and link your NIN to your new or existing Glow number.
Get up to 20,000 naira for free with Glow.
20,000 naira bonus free.
Yes, so free.
Nigel, what are you waiting for?
Afghan women are afraid that this is the beginning of your efforts to erase them from the workspace.
Malumnis, it's not clear. Even if we appear with the burqa, maybe they will say that women's voices are forbidden.
Did you ever imagine that you would be prevented from going to school?
Girls' education is fundamental to the dignity of Afghan life.
Do you believe that young girls will be allowed to go to school here in Afghanistan?
Have you heard it like this?
Let's untangle the players and political forces.
Fast-paced news from the perspective of The Global Brief with Bianca Nobilo. Tonight on CNN.
In emergency situations, getting a patient the care they need immediately is very important. In Uganda, one man has designed a prototype for a medical device that may lead to quicker treatment.
Africa, if I might say, is lagging a little bit behind when it comes to innovations, especially in health. And we are talking about affordable technologies, but then also technologies which apply in Africa in the context of low and middle income countries. So young people usually have, I believe they have the brains to boost health through coming up with innovations which make diagnosis or even treatment quicker for the patients. I am a medtech entrepreneur from Uganda. I am Julius Mubiru, and I'm a change maker.
When Julius Mubiru was only 1.5 years old, he spent 2 weeks in the hospital suffering from an asthma attack, the first of many.
I used to be so sick, so I'd spend a lot of time in the hospital.
Though he's healthy now, one thing that always stuck with him was getting jabbed multiple times before a clinician successfully found a vein.
I think this one, along the way, motivated me to go into the line of health, that is to try and give back a service to help with challenges which you find as a child. From the child's perspective, the aspect of being in the hospital gave me like a motivation to try and come up with a solution to help out.
In 2015, Julius and a team of engineers at the Mbarara University of Science and Technology came up with an idea to create a device that could find veins more easily.
The standard of care, or what we call the way how clinicians are currently doing the procedure, is to use anatomical knowledge. They will teach you that a vein passes here. So the A-Light vein locator is used so that you can easily identify where the vein is, and you draw the blood samples or you give the medication. This means that the child will not have to be pricked so many times, which is very painful to the child, but even for the parents. Very traumatic for them to see their sick babies going through a lot of pain. Basically, this is how it comes.
Vein locating devices exist already in other parts of the world, but Julius says they aren't feasible in Uganda for multiple reasons.
But these devices do not put into the consideration the African context, both in making and also, which also translates into the costing. For example, some need more than 2 clinicians to work with them, and also the technology behind them. Some use infrared, others are ultrasound based. So you have a lot of equipment which are needed to process the images. What we are doing, we are using visible light, where you do not need extra equipment to process the image, and then also one clinician can operate it. And this is very important because in Africa, the patient to doctor ratio is very high, 25,000 to 1, so you do not have the luxury of numbers. This is how we are trying to put the African context into the design.
The A-Light vein locator is still in the prototype phase, and Julius's team is constantly updating it based on user feedback.
Okay, so this one is the laboratory where the A-Light vein locator team works with our A-Light engineers.
Good morning, guys. Taking us to do some of the reviews we picked from Venezuela that may require to be adjusted.
Okay.
So from the feedback we had, they were suggesting that it would be nice to have a strap to get it, like to go right in place. So I'm trying to think about strap design that we could consider.
The idea of A-Light came to light during a medtech hackathon where Julius met co-founder Lydia Asimwe.
The team that was forming to create the solution had to be diverse. So it needed a medical person on the team, it needed some technicians, it needed people from the business background. So working with Julius is interesting. He's, first of all, very knowledgeable of his subject matter, of his area of expertise in medicine. He's always reading, always coming up with something new, always researching. I love that about him. So with him, it's continuous innovation, continuous learning. So this device started from a very simple prototype, lab-based prototype, very huge. It has come a long way to where it is now. There are mighty men and women and organizations that have mentored us to be where we are today.
Julius and his colleagues are currently in clinical trials with their device, under the guidance of Principal Investigator Jerome Kabachenga.
Good morning, Professor.
Morning to you. How are the preliminary results?
The results were promising. We haven't at least had any adverse effects, which is a promising thing.
As a health worker, I have also been challenged with identifying vessels. The vein locator at least has moved a stage from the proof of concept to now reaching a stage of clinical trials. And I would expect that once it has passed the initial stage of clinical trials, then it can go to like scaling up, using it to a bigger number of children and see how it will work. And then, unsurprisingly, you can find an innovation like this one, which has started here, spreading all over the world.
So we believe that once we hit the market, then it will be taken up easily.
Just what exactly does a clinical trial entail for Julius's device? We'll find out next.
20,000 naira free bonus.
20,000 naira for free.
Is your line blocked? Then move to Glow.
I'm reconnected.
Because we've all reconnected. And it's simple.
Just link your NIN by dialing *109#.
20,000 naira free bonus.
Free.
No.
And existing customers get 20,000 naira for free. Make the right call with Glow.
This is the screen where it happens. The moments that can change the world.
These are the faces we see, the voices we empower. This is the work that continues, who we are today and what we can become.
This is journalism that reflects the world we live in.
Julius Mubiru is hoping to revolutionize the way children are cannulated in Uganda.
With the A-Light vein locator, we believe that it's an impact innovation by reducing on the time taken for these babies to get treatment. We are targeting at least less than 2 minutes and then having first needle success of up to 100%.
It's a mission that's very personal for him and his mother.
At birth, Julius was okay until he turned 1.5 years old when he got asthma. As a parent, I always felt bad when I took him to hospital and witnessed how he was injected while looking for veins. He was indeed over-pierced, and I felt so sorry. So now when I hear that my son discovered the A-Light machine and that there would be less piercings, it really made me happy. I was very happy.
Julius and his team have been working hard to bring their low-cost, non-invasive vein finder to market for the last 7 years. They've won numerous awards and grants to help develop the A-Light vein locator.
Camtech Accelerator programs where they support young innovators. It's a $10,000 US grant. So I awarded that grant, and it helped us to develop the very early prototypes into when we got the second iterations. Then we've also participated in the NISIP award by the Ministry of ICT of Uganda. It was a $20,000 US award, and this is the one that we used to develop into the third prototype.
They're currently in ongoing clinical trials, and today we got to see A-Light in action at a local health center.
This is Wizwera Health Center 4. It is located in western Uganda. It's one of the centers where we've deployed the A-Light vein locator for clinical trials. So usually what happens is that in the clinical trials, you have to demonstrate that it is safe, you have to demonstrate that it's not inferior to what is being done, and then you have to demonstrate the efficacy. So yeah, you're looking at the target, the end user.